Welcome guys to my YouTube channel. Today's another episode that we are talking about the most important secret, or rather the most important secret that can route your way to success. And before I proceed, continue subscribing to my channel. Thank you everyone. Today we are going to talk about the most important component um, towards your success, and this is about surrounding yourself with the right people, which is a critical element that can define your success. um, this principle is often attributed to the fact that you are one of the average, or maybe a denominator, because you are an average of, for instance, some of the maybe five people that you spend your time with. So you are almost an average of those people. So if you surround yourself with the right people, and in this case, I don't mean that you need to lower your friendships, but rather these five friends that you spend your time with, who are in your phone book, often reflect the far that you can rise, because the people in your inner circle can directly or indirectly influence how you behave, your mindset, your habits. They can also affect your ambitions and even your general outlook. So karibuni sana towards this video, where you see that if you intentionally choose to maybe have a supportive and high achieving network of individuals, you can improve your personal growth, and maybe you are improve your trajectory towards how high you can achieve your goals. So that is the most basic element that is often overlooked, because we talk about maybe get around the right people, or have the right people within your inner circle. Um, um, so much of your happiness, or maybe your happiness, is determined by the quality of relationships that you have, or those ones that you develop in both yourself as an individual, as well as in your networks or in your business. So the more people that you get to understand, or maybe the more business partnerships or relationships that you mend, the more likely you are likely to become successful. And also this one can also accelerate your growth. um in fact, in networking, and almost in every turning point in our lives, we are likely to find somebody who can assist us to do, or maybe learn a skill. And we are also likely to get others who are there hindering our success. But for maybe for us, all that we lack is that habit that can help us to maybe build and maintain a high quality either professional relationships throughout our lives, so that we can accomplish more and more of our goals. Um, so everything that we do in our lives involves uh, people and personal relationships, and maybe some of the relationships that we get into maybe virtually cause us to fail, either in business or even in our personal growth or mindsets. Because if you have maybe some of your best friends within your circles don't accelerate you, or they don't push you um towards building your business mindset, then just as we've talked about the average of your five best friends that you spend most of your time with, you're likely to fail. So therefore some of the successes that we often witness are based or are usually affected by the relationships that we foster with others. And it's not only fostering good relationships rather, but you also need to have maybe a good network of people, friends who can help you and whom you also help in return. So similar case, it's garbage in, garbage out. You can also help them in one way or the other, and they can also help you in one way or the other. So therefore, much of our success is attributed to what we can term as our reference group. If perhaps the average of the five most common friends that you spend much of your time with, we can maybe call it your reference group. And these are people where you can also maybe develop habits you identify and maybe have a whom you just spend your time with. So the far that they are likely to go is the far that you're also likely to go. And definitely, from this concept, we can maybe understand that we can put it in the form of a chameleon kind of jargon, in a way that a chameleon takes the colors of the environment in which it works on. So a chameleon can change from blue to white, it can change from black to yellow, and whichever color. So therefore, we are likely to camouflage ourselves and maybe copy the attitudes, behaviors, values, and beliefs of people whom that we spend much of our time with. So, however, the most important element is for us to maybe spend much of our time with people who are successful and people who are not only successful but positive in life. Um, we also need to spend time with people who are happy and those ones who are optimistic and have clear goals, um, or those ones with a positive mindset. But if we spend maybe much of our time with people who are undecided, then likely we also likely to behave like the chameleon and be possibly be unhappy, and we can also be undecided, and we can also meddle with our goals. Um, Another thing that is often overlooked is the fact that it becomes very hard for maybe individuals to slip away from people with negative minds or maybe people who complain a lot. So one of the secrets to success is cutting off people who are always complaining or those ones who are negative. So negative people are likely to propel you backwards. Um, there's a thing that says that if you want to maybe fly with the eagles, if you want to fly very high with the eagles, you cannot scratch the turkeys. If you want to change and maybe route your path to success, you have to change your mindset and fly like an eagle. So, much of the people that we can consider successful often have charisma in networking, and they are adaptive to join different industries, learn new skills, associate with other people, maybe attend events and such kind of activities. Then they are also likely to engage or maybe be involved in different activities where they also maybe exchange their business profiles, tell others what they do, they market themselves. But if you have maybe a negative mindset, it becomes very hard for you to maybe exchange contacts, discuss about business and the likes. So I've noticed in most of the videos, especially for mentorship, that successful successful people often talk about, or maybe more than 90% of the successful people um, always talk about their businesses. And don't mistake this one for being proud, but rather it's a way of marketing. You have to market what you're selling. They have to tell you that they are working on maybe in the oil industry, the gas industry, in farming, or in other businesses, so to speak. But for them, they even need you as a consumer of their service. So, so that is maybe just what is mostly required for us for today as a secret to success, because the average number of people, or maybe the kind of people that we mostly spend our time with, those ones that we talk to much of our time, significantly influence how much we can rise. So maybe a takeaway is you can try to identify the most important people in your lives. You can also identify what they can do for them so that they can also be open to helping you back. Um, Identify the gaps that you see be in your circle of friends and determine the kind of friends that you'd like to interact with. So by having a high profile, maybe a high profile of friends that we can network with, we can conclude that your success is going to be predictable. So success is not a matter of maybe gambling, luck, but um, it's a condition, just like the sun rises in the east, and you know that has to set in the west. It's a way of modeling these activities by improving your inner circle. Then this one puts at a competitive advantage over other people because you understand that you need a circle of friends that is going to raise you high. Um, so another thing that is required is persistence, because you have to copy just like the chameleon does. You have to persistently copy maybe what people who are successful do, because you're maybe the architect of your own success and you're also the master of your success. So once we have that limitless mindset coupled with our positive mindset, then there is no need to put us to have limitations to the fact that we can become successful. I think that is enough for today before I go to the the comment section that the match, or maybe the then people, one of the critical aspects that define our success is the people that we spend our time with. So because if you spend time with the right people, then you are likely to expand your knowledge and also maybe get insights, interact with mentors and other peers so that you can understand the successes and failures that they are likely to experience in their personal journey or even in their businesses. It also gives you the exploration to maybe network and see new opportunities in different niches. Um, so I think one another key takeaway is that we can evaluate our current relationships and see, are they worth the time that we spend with our friends? Then do they bring us up? Do they take us down? Then from there, you can also take the maybe use a chart to understand whether we need to foster these relationships or we need to cut them off. Then we can also prioritize finding new connections so that maybe we can improve on personal relationships, interpersonal relationships, in our professions, maybe even in online communities. And that is how we can cultivate or maybe improve our circles of influence. Um, Last but not least, we also need to have a positive mindset because positivity is the anchor to success. So before I give out my final remarks, a negative mindset is often one of the key factors that bring fear, and they also maybe um, s- make things seem like a risk-taking venture. But with a positive mindset, once you fall down, you have to get to your goals. So you have to learn to crawl for you to reach your destination, even if you can't walk. If you can't fly, you have to learn to crawl fast. Then from there, you walk slowly, then you walk till an element to reaches a point where you can fly. So thank you guys. Continue subscribing to my channel, Elijah Wanjohi. I'm so much grateful. We'll be having more and more episodes this month about how we can improve or maybe the secrets to success. And one of the greatest secrets to success is getting around the right people. So this one can often be underestimated, but if you surround ourselves with the wrong people, then we are likely to get wrong results. Um, Last but not least, we also need to be very much decisive and action oriented. Because if you don't take action, you're gonna think about something, but you need to go to an extent of deciding or making firm decisions and maybe taking action. So much of I've seen that most of the people who are unsuccessful are reported to be indecisive. They don't have the willpower or maybe the ability to make firm decisions. Um, they they even settle for less. But having maybe being decisive and action oriented is a key concept towards being successful in the long run. So, can you ask yourself this question? do I have? Am I action oriented? Am I decisive enough to make it or maybe achieve my goals? Am I decisive enough to take risks and take action? So it's better to maybe use that to ask yourself that question so that you can fail forward, which is one of the points towards being successful. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Cheers.